Okay, Trevor, wherever you are, settle in. And for the rest of you, grab your metaphorical popcorn, because we're diving deep into the band that basically owned 90s rock radio, while simultaneously making music critics want to pull their hair out, Collective Soul. Seriously, how did a band churn out hit after hit, songs you still can't escape on classic rock stations, yet get slapped with labels like bubblegum grunge and constantly dodge the "Are you guys a Christian rock band?" question like it was the final boss in a video game? Were they misunderstood musical prophets, secret agents of positivity infiltrating the gritty grunge scene, or just really, really good at writing catchy hooks that worm their way into your brain like that one annoying Tamagotchi you couldn't keep alive? And honey, let's not forget the drama. Lawsuits that left them high and dry, platinum records on the wall while moving back in with mom and dad. Oh, the tea is piping hot and we're about to spill it all. Forget the liner notes. This is the unauthorized, slightly sarcastic, behind the music deep dive. All right, picture this. Stockbridge, Georgia. Not exactly the rock and roll capital of the world, right? More like picket fences and Sunday service. That's where our main man, Ed Roland, and his little brother Dean grew up. Their dad, a Baptist preacher. Yeah, that kind of upbringing. We're talking hymns, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, and not much else. Imagine trying to rock out when your dad used to literally burn records he didn't approve of. Yikes. Talk about playing life on hard mode. Ed, clearly bitten by the music bug despite the limited playlist, somehow convinced the parents to let him learn guitar. He even jetted off to the prestigious Berklee College of Music in Boston. Talk about a culture shock. Suddenly it wasn't just hymns, it was the Cars. But like many a college story, it was kinda short-lived. Ed boomeranged back to Georgia, landed a job in a recording studio, smart move, and spent the 80s trying to make it happen. He was in a technopop band called the Eddie Band, bless his heart, that even appeared in a cheesy made-for-TV movie. Seriously, Google One Terrific Guy 1985 if you need a laugh. Then came Marching Two-Step, his rock band effort with future Collective Soul members Shane Evans, drums, and Ross Childress, guitar. They grinded, played dingy clubs, recorded demos, chased that elusive record deal, and got basically nowhere. Crickets, tumbleweeds, the sound of dreams deflating. By 1993, Ed Roland was 30, probably rocking some serious existential dread, and this close to chucking the whole rock star dream in the bin. His manager basically said, "Dude, focus on songwriting, make a demo." So Ed holed up in the studio late at night, probably fueled by cheap coffee and desperation, and banged out a bunch of songs. One of the last ones he wrote, a little track called Shine. He threw the demo out to a local college radio station under the witty moniker Brothers and Broads, LOL, OK Ed, and wouldn't you know it, Shine exploded. Like became the most requested song. Suddenly, Ed needed an actual band, like yesterday. He grabbed his brother Dean, guitar, buddies Ross Childress, guitar, and Shane Evans, drums, and snagged Will Turpin, bass, who he knew from the church choir back home. Small world. They snagged the name Collective Soul from Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead, which is a choice, but hey, it stuck. Shine spread like wildfire across southern radio stations, but record labels still dragging their feet. Can you imagine hearing that riff and being like, nah, I'm good? The audacity. Eventually, they self-released the demo as the album Hints, Allegations, and Things Left Unsaid in 1993. It started out selling major label acts in the region. Finally, Atlantic Records woke up, smelled the potential platinum, and signed them in early '94. They re-released the album, and boom, Shine shot to #1 on the Billboard mainstream rock chart and camped out there for 8 weeks. The album went double platinum. Collective Soul had officially arrived, kicking the door down with sunshiny riffs in the middle of the grunge storm. Now, this is where things get interesting. While Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Soundgarden were serving up angst and flannel, Collective Soul was dropping these uplifting major key anthems. Hopeful? Yes. Spiritual undertones? Definitely. Ed Roland came from a preacher's house after all, but this immediately set them apart and made them prime targets for the cool kid critics. They got branded bubblegum grunge. Ouch. Some tried to stuff them into the southern rock box, which Ed hated, citing the Eagles and Elton John as bigger influences. Others kept pushing the Christian rock angle. Ed was constantly playing defense, telling the News Times in 2005, "I don't preach, by any means. I have my own faith, my own beliefs, and I leave it at that. It's incorporated in the lyrics, but it's not preachy. Basically, leave me alone. I just write catchy songs."
Me, once again, I think that translates to the audience, and I think that's when we felt like, let's this is it. Let's show them what we got.
Yeah.
No overdubs, no nothing.
Despite the critical side-eye, the fans couldn't get enough. Their 1995 self-titled album, which the band considered their real debut since it was a full band effort, was another smash. It gave us December, The World I Know, and Where the River Flows. Certified triple platinum, thank you very much. They were huge. Think peak Alanis Morissette or Hootie and the Blowfish level of radio saturation. You literally couldn't escape them. But fame and fortune often come with a side order of drama. Remember that manager who encouraged Ed to make the demo? Yeah, well, things got messy. A lawsuit erupted, and suddenly the royalty checks stopped flowing. Get this, the band had multiple platinum albums, chart-topping hits, were recognized everywhere, and they were broke. Ed and other members reportedly had to move back in with their parents. Can you imagine the awkward dinner conversations? Pass the potatoes, son. Oh, by the way, how's that rock star thing going now that you're living in your childhood bedroom again? The glamour. This financial strain hit hard while they were trying to make their third album, 1997's Discipline Breakdown. Recorded on a shoestring budget, it still managed to go platinum because, hello, hits like Precious Declaration. But the cracks were starting to show. The pressure was immense. They bounced back commercially with 1999's Dosage, arguably one of their best, featuring the absolute banger Heavy. That song was everywhere, but the music industry landscape was shifting faster than you can say Napster. By the early 2000s, after one more album, Blender, Collective Soul, and Atlantic Records decided to consciously uncouple, as Gwyneth Paltrow might say. The official line is often creative differences, which is industry code for "we're not selling enough bazillions anymore," or "we're tired of arguing." Ed Roland told Songfacts years later, reflecting on the Atlantic era, they wanted hits, and we were fortunate enough to give them to them, but there was never that relationship that I saw other bands had with their labels. Sounds a bit chilly. This marked a turning point. They went indie, releasing music on their own L Music Group label. Lineup changes happened too. Original guitarist Ross Childress left in 2001. Drummer Shane Evans departed later. While they kept touring and releasing solid albums, that mainstream MTV-ruling, radio-dominating era was largely over. So what's the legacy of Collective Soul? They were the unlikely chart kings who soundtracked the mid to late 90s with optimistic rock when everyone else was moping. They faced down critics who never quite got them, survived gnarly industry politics and financial nightmares, and proved that catchy songs with a hint of soul, pun intended, have serious staying power. They were inducted into the Georgia Music Hall of Fame in 2009, a nice hometown validation.
Georgia Music Hall of Fame, Collective Soul.
What will they be most remembered for? Those undeniable hits: Shine, December, The World I Know, Heavy. You hear those opening chords, and boom, you're right back in 1990 whatever. They're a testament to resilience and carving your own path, even if it's not the coolest one according to the gatekeepers. Ed Roland, as the primary songwriter and frontman, is the anchor. Let's talk cash money. Net worth for bands is trickier than solo artists. Ed Roland, as the main songwriter, likely holds the largest piece of the pie. Estimates you see online often place his net worth somewhere in the $8 to $12 million range. Other long-term members like Dean Roland and Will Turpin probably sit comfortably in the low to mid single-digit millions, 1 to 5 million perhaps, depending on royalties, touring revenue, and smart investments. Not bad for surviving the major label meat grinder and decades on the road. They certainly aren't hurting like they were when moving back home. Are they still going? Absolutely. Collective Soul continues to tour consistently and release new music. The core of Ed Roland, Dean Roland, and Will Turpin remains. They dropped Vibrating in 2022, and most recently, a double album called Here to Eternity in 2024. These guys aren't stopping. They know their audience. They deliver solid rock shows, and they seem genuinely happy doing what they love, free from major label pressures. They're elder statesmen of 90s rock now, still bringing the energy. So, next time you hear Shine on the radio for the millionth time, maybe give it a little more respect. It's not just a catchy tune. It's the sound of perseverance, of navigating preacher dads, confusing critics, brutal lawsuits, and the fickle music biz, all while somehow keeping a positive vibe. Not bad for some guys from Stockbridge, Georgia.